Hey there, love explorers and dating detectives. Welcome back to our channel, where we untangle the mysteries of modern romance with a splash of humor, a pinch of science, and a generous dollop of real talk. Today's sizzling topic is one that's sure to spark debate. Who should pay on a first date? Before we dive in, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe for more insights into the wild world of dating, and drop a comment below with your take. Should it be a traditional bill-splitting showdown? Or do we have a new method on the horizon? Let's get into it. Dating, like a fine wine, has evolved over time. Historically, the expectation was pretty straightforward. The gentleman picks up the tab. But as society's views on gender roles evolved, thanks in part to the feminist movements of the 20th century, the question of who pays became as ambiguous as trying to solve a Rubik's Cube blindfolded. A 2017 study in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships found that couples who discuss splitting the bill report feeling more equal and satisfied. So if you're stepping into modern dating, consider that even research is backing the idea of equality. Imagine this. You're on a date and instead of the traditional, "Let me pay, dear," you're both laughing as you tag-team the bill. Not only does it showcase mutual respect, but it also sets a positive tone for your relationship. And hey, if you both end up splitting the bill, you might just split the tab on awkward silence too. Now let's talk communication. Yes, that thing we often forget to do in our texts and DMs. Discussing who pays on a first date might feel like opening a can of worms, but research suggests that couples who talk openly about finances early on tend to have fewer disagreements later. A study from the American Psychological Association emphasizes that clear communication about money can reduce relationship stress by up to 30%. Picture this. You're sitting across from your date, the bill arrives, and instead of awkward glances, you both agree to alternate paying for dates. It's like planning a tag team match where each of you gets a turn in the spotlight. And if you're feeling super communicative, you could even joke, "Let's alternate. Today, you get to experience the joy of treating me, and next time, I'll have the pleasure of repaying the favor." Ever wondered why some people insist on picking up the tab? Well, there's some fascinating science behind it. Studies in social psychology indicate that acts of generosity, like paying for a meal, trigger the release of oxytocin, the so-called love hormone. This chemical boost not only enhances feelings of trust and bonding, but also makes both parties feel good about the interaction. But here's the twist. If both individuals engage in this oxytocin boost, the effect can be doubled. It's a win-win. So whether you decide to let your date pay or volunteer to do it, remember that the act of giving can strengthen your connection. Just imagine a little oxytocin party happening with every swipe of the credit card. Social media, the double-edged sword of modern romance. Platforms like Instagram and dating apps such as Tinder and Bumble have changed the game entirely. A survey by Pew Research Center found that 59% of online daters feel that modern dating norms, including who pays on a first date, are influenced by what they see online. Now you might be thinking, but what do I post on my story after splitting the bill? The answer is simple: authenticity. Share a candid selfie with a caption like, "Splitting the bill, splitting the stereotypes." Not only does it reflect a progressive mindset, but it also sparks conversations with like-minded individuals. Who knew that a dinner bill could be a catalyst for both equality and viral content? Let's shift gears to talk about financial independence, a topic that resonates with many, regardless of gender. In today's world, both men and women are climbing the career ladder and earning their own bread. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the number of dual-income households has skyrocketed, making the traditional "I got you" approach a bit outdated. When you're financially independent, splitting the bill or taking turns paying is a sign of empowerment. It shows that you value yourself and expect your partner to do the same. And here's a pro tip. When you treat your date to a meal, consider it as investing in the relationship rather than just spending money. Think of it as a fun experiment, one that could lead to a lifetime of shared experiences and mutual respect. Culture plays a massive role in how we approach dating etiquette. For instance, in many Western cultures, splitting the bill has become the norm, whereas in several Asian countries it might be customary for one person, often the male, to pay. This cultural dynamic is explored in a fascinating paper published in Cross-Cultural Psychology, which highlights that cultural background significantly influences dating behavior and expectations. Imagine the hilarity that ensues when two people from different cultural backgrounds meet. Your date might expect you to pay, and you might expect a split bill. It's like ordering sushi at a Tex-Mex restaurant. Unexpected, confusing, but ultimately a conversation starter. When in doubt, communicate openly about your expectations. You could say, "In my culture, we like to alternate paying, but I'm curious. What's the norm for you?" Gender stereotypes, those pesky little beliefs that sometimes stick around like that one pair of socks you just can't get rid of. Traditional gender roles often dictate that men should pay on a first date, but research from the Harvard Business Review challenges these outdated notions. The study found that couples who share financial responsibilities report higher satisfaction in their relationships. Breaking free from these stereotypes can feel revolutionary, like finally realizing that you don't need a fork to eat soup. Whether you're a man who wants to let your date pay, a woman who prefers to treat herself, or someone who identifies outside these binaries, the most important thing is that you're comfortable with your choice. So next time you're on a date, feel free to say, "Let's shake off these old-school stereotypes and create our own rules." Let's put on our nerd glasses and talk numbers. According to a report by The Economist, the average cost of a first date in the United States is around $50 to $100. Now that might not sound like a lot until you remember that dating can quickly become a recurring expense. Splitting the bill or taking turns paying can significantly ease the financial burden and prevent any awkward money debt feelings from creeping into the relationship. Consider it this way. If each date costs you $75 and you see each other twice a week, you could be spending nearly $300 a month. By sharing the expense, you're not just being considerate, you're also being smart about your budget. Plus, it sets a precedent for a balanced partnership. After all, love shouldn't come with a price tag that's heavier than your credit card bill at the end of the month. Money and relationships have always had a complicated dance. Research from the Journal of Family and Economic Issues indicates that financial disagreements are one of the leading causes of stress in relationships. The act of paying on a first date might seem trivial, but it's a microcosm of larger financial dynamics at play in a relationship. For example, when one person consistently pays without discussion, it could lead to feelings of indebtedness or imbalance. On the flip side, agreeing to share costs can foster a sense of fairness and equality. So whether you're the one with the extra cash or someone who's more about the experiences than the expenses, having a pre-date discussion about finances can set the stage for a healthier relationship. All right, now that we've dissected the who's, why's, and how's with a healthy dose of research, science, and humor, let's wrap up with some practical, real-world tips for your next first date. Discuss beforehand. A casual conversation about splitting the bill can prevent awkward moments. A simple, "How do you feel about sharing the tab?" works wonders. Alternate paying. Agree to take turns paying for dates. It keeps things balanced and builds anticipation for the next outing. Offer to split, but don't insist. Politely offer to split, but be open if your date insists on treating. Flexibility is key. Use technology apps like Venmo or PayPal can smooth out the payment process. No need to wrestle with cash or awkward wallet moments. Plan ahead. Choose a venue where splitting the bill is straightforward. Restaurants with separate checks make life easier. Be mindful of cultural cues. If you know your date comes from a background where paying norms differ, ask them about their preferences. It's a respectful nod to their culture. Set the tone early. Your approach to paying sets the tone for the relationship. Emphasize equality, respect, and mutual enjoyment of each other's company. Share your values. Use this moment to share your beliefs about equality and independence. It's an excellent way to gauge if you're on the same wavelength. Keep it light. Use humor to ease any tension. A joke like, "I guess our wallets are in a relationship now too," can lighten the mood. Don't stress over it. At the end of the day, a first date is about connecting, not about who foots the bill. If you can laugh about it together, you're off to a great start. Remember, These tips aren't rules set in stone. They're more like guidelines for crafting a dating experience that's as enjoyable and stress-free as possible. So, what have we learned today, friends? The question of who should pay on a first date isn't just about money. It's a reflection of communication, cultural background, financial independence, and yes, even a bit of scientific chemistry. Whether you lean toward tradition or modern equality, the key is to be authentic, respectful, and most importantly, communicative. When both parties approach the situation with an open mind and a willingness to discuss their values, you create a foundation for a relationship built on mutual understanding and fairness. It's like mixing the perfect cocktail, equal parts humor, research, and real-life experience, shaken, not stirred. Let's share a couple of funny anecdotes, shall we? I once heard of a couple who, after a lengthy debate over who should pay, decided to flip a coin. The coin landed on its edge, and they ended up laughing so hard that they called it a draw and split the bill. It's moments like these that remind us, sometimes the absurdity of the situation is what makes it memorable. Another friend of mine tried to impress his date by insisting, "Don't worry about it, I've got this," only for his date to later reveal she had brought her own wallet ready to contribute. They ended up splitting the bill anyway and joked about forming a bill-splitting club for future dates. If that doesn't bring a smile to your face, I don't know what will. At the end of the day, whether you choose to pay, split, or take turns, remember that a first date is about much more than who ends up with the check. It's about forging a connection, sharing laughter, and building a rapport that might just lead to something extraordinary. The act of paying is simply one small part of the grand dance of dating. A dance that, when done right, leaves you both richer in experience, even if your bank accounts might be a tad lighter. In the grand scheme of things, the money spent on a first date is a small investment compared to the wealth of experiences, stories, and shared moments you create together. So let's raise a toast, or a credit card swipe, to the power of shared experiences and the joy of navigating life's little dilemmas with grace and humor. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the labyrinth of first date etiquette. If you enjoyed today's deep dive, please give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe to our channel for more insightful and entertaining content, and leave a comment down below sharing your personal story or opinion on who should pay on a first date. I love reading your thoughts, and who knows, your comment might just spark the next big discussion on our channel. Until next time, keep your hearts open, your conversations honest, and your bills, whatever they may be, lighthearted. Signing off with a reminder that love, laughter, and a shared meal can solve almost any dilemma. Stay curious, stay kind, and I'll see you in the next video. Fade out with upbeat music and a montage of fun date scenarios, ending with the channel's logo and a final prompt, like, subscribe and comment.